me, it was about honoring the characters, trying to honor the audience expectation, while at the same time offering something fresh and unexpected that will take people by pleasant surprise.
Turning pain into purpose is very healing. And somehow it also makes sense out of the senseless.
You see the distinguishing characteristic that there are a lot of men, and there are a lot of African Americans that are impacted by the wrongful incarceration.
Do I sit back and let my society see what my society becomes? Or do I stand up and make my society become what I want to see? That's the question, and only you can answer that question for yourself.
When we're born into the
process
world
is to investigate
in small ways.
They think they're just boring tales, but actually the magic is that they start in a really engaging, interesting way, so your mind is connected to it. But then slowly, imperceptibly, as the story goes along, it becomes more soporific, the pauses become longer, and before you know it, you've fallen asleep.
For me, baby, just one more time. You make it easy, you make it right. Girl, you.
And that's what going on the balcony, metaphorically speaking, allows you to do, is recalibrate your focus in a way that gives you a chance to recognize where you are at, where you'd like to go, who do you think that you are, and who would you like to be.
It's a moment in time in which I just claim to be a witness to history.
Attempting to be always in control, I can promise you as a retired control freak, is a guaranteed, an absolute guaranteed recipe for unhappiness.
Oh, just believe in yourself. This is an idea and you're passionate about it, just do it.
Write those stories.
Yes, flying through the Southern Hemisphere, seeing the
And
Southern
there are shortcuts to how we can activate.
Science has come down to say, we are doing it.
It's about what do you want?
Yeah. All right, I hug.
This is the main idea of how Taiwan successfully countered the COVID based on the 3 pillars of digitalization innovation.
Because there's a brief period when you're absolutely lost in laughter, when you are helpless with laughter, when you genuinely are helpless. If a tiger was to come in at that point, there'd be very little you could do about it.
And the approach that we take in our laboratory is to understand how these early experiences might be influencing brain development.
They have to start a national strategy. I mean, that's absolutely a must.
If you come here with questions and you leave with more questions, then I did my job. Because I don't think there's a simple answer to what is gender.
They have a voice, and their voice is important, and they want to be heard.
At some point, you have to define for yourself. You have to really know why you're on your path. Know what you're in it for.
People think if they don't fit in, and if they can't perform at the same level as those Olympic athletes, that they don't count. Somebody lied to you, boo-boo. You are an athlete.
我成了一个环球旅行者，很大程度上是因为我对世界保有一种比较深度的好奇。
I mean, we talk a lot about this in meditation, in mindfulness. Change is often very uncomfortable, it's often very challenging, it's confronting, it forces us to be vulnerable. And in being vulnerable, we create a space where change can actually happen and take place.
I think that unless we can really change how we think about cancer, particularly treating advanced cancers, we're not going to fill that glass to the top.
And I think that there is a joy in it, but also there might be a discomfort in it, or there might be a questioning in it, like, oh, this is making me feel conflicted because most of these white historical figures were slaveholders, and that makes me feel a certain way.
And while I was incarcerated, I met so many other women, young girls, older women, who beyond having basic
failures in education, they had been failed by our educational system.
Everyone has access to love. It's injustice. Oh, we like law.
Being in that world, I walked into a family, and I was welcomed with open arms. And I can't tell you how much that means to me, meant to me, and still means to me.
Follow your curiosity, right? Follow your because your curiosity is going to lead you down so many different paths and rabbit holes, and it's going to unlock all of these new ideas.
I would forget the applause, I would forget the recognition, I would forget the income. If you forget those things and say, oh, I really want to write this because I have something to say, then I think that you're going to write books and you're going to write stories.
The fact that life is difficult means that when you reach those points, rather than feeling like, oh, I've failed and I'm alone, those are precisely the points that join everybody up. That is like the precise weight of life showing itself.
If it scares you,
change for good. Listen to the people who do.
Be resourceful. Thank you, Google.